Boda is a filthy rich heir whose parents just arranged a political marriage with a top heiress. But he never expected Liu Ruyan, the most famously untouchable ice queen in the city, to say yes. She actually accepted the engagement, even though she already had another guy in her heart. Honestly, marrying him was nothing but a move to ease her own family's massive pressure. So to play the part, he starts showering her with daily attention and sweet gestures. Luxury car rides and holding massive bouquets of flowers in public. He shows up right outside her office, chasing her as passionately as possible. A loud, high-profile pursuit that has the whole city talking. But just when she acts completely indifferent, he throws a total curveball. He asks when she plans to cancel the engagement, making her instantly lose her cool. Now we flash back to Boda slamming the marriage agreement onto his desk. The loud slap from the papers echoes sharply through the quiet office. "No way I am marrying her," he says, leaning back with his legs crossed. He casually taps the armrest, looking totally unbothered by the situation. "If the old man keeps forcing me," he mutters, "I am going to lose it."
He even threatens to donate all his shares, while his assistant Chen Ze just stands there.
Chen Ze adjusts his gold-rimmed glasses and calmly pulls a document out of his briefcase. He slides it over, stating that Boda's father wanted him to deliver this personally. Boda looks down and realizes it is a draft to disown him. His mouth twitches in pure disbelief as he asks if his dad has lost his mind. Chen Ze calmly explains that if Boda does not sign the marriage papers, he signs this instead. And if he refuses to sign both, then he needs to look at this next item. He pulls out another envelope, and Boda tears it open to read. Inside is a letter written in his dad's aggressive, sharp handwriting. It says, "Listen here, brat, I have met the girl from the Liu family. She is 10 times better than your last 8 girlfriends combined, so you better marry her. If you do not, your mother will cry and grandmother will throw a fit. I will seize your sports cars, freeze all your credit cards for 3 whole years. And I will turn your luxury penthouse into a mahjong room, so choose wisely." It is signed by his dad, and Boda slams it down, yelling that this is a threat. Chen Ze does not even blink, stating the chairman called it a notice, not a threat. Plus, Miss Liu already agreed, which makes Boda snap his head up in pure shock. The assistant explains that the Liu family confirmed she has absolutely no objections to this alliance. She is ready to marry him, leaving Boda completely frozen. We are talking about Liu Ruyan, the legendary ice queen who treats men like absolute trash. The untouchable woman who does not let anyone get within 10 feet of her. Why on earth would she agree? Boda mutters, completely baffled by her decision. Does she actually think this is a good idea? Chen Ze simply replies that he has no clue. But he adds that the Liu family is offering some massive benefits once the wedding is done. They will hand over the prime southern land development rights, making Boda narrow his eyes. At this point, you realize this is the elite world. Zero romance, just cold business. It is nothing but a raw exchange of power between him and Liu Ruyan. One is the sole heir to a massive empire, the other a pampered heiress. To the public, they are a match made in heaven, the ultimate power couple. But the funny thing is, Boda has absolutely zero interest in her. Our boy Boda has crossed paths with Liu Ruyan countless times at those high society banquets. From glamorous charity auctions to exclusive parties packed with elites, she was always there. But she always stood alone in the corner, looking like a solitary orchid blooming in secret. Totally out of place with the noisy crowd, but honestly, she was ridiculously beautiful. Her face was so top tier, she could easily dominate the entertainment industry, like a perfect painting. She had a perfectly straight nose, elegant thin lips, and pure goddess energy. Her jawline was so sharp, plastic surgeons could use it as a template, and her skin was almost translucent. Tall and slender, she did not even have to do anything. Just standing there made her a literal masterpiece, but her personality? Low-key boring as hell. Without a smile, she was an absolute iceberg, and honestly, Boda had never actually seen her smile. Rumor has it that Liu Ruyan smiles less than 10 times a year. And every single time, it was only for her ragdoll cat. But the real kicker? Her extreme germophobia. Everyone in their wealthy circle knows Miss Liu was a total germaphobe. At the last charity gala, Some clueless male celebrity tried to get close to her, and Liu Ruyan immediately retreated 3 steps. Her face went paper pale as she ordered her bodyguards to drag him out right away. Another time, an overenthusiastic socialite tried to grab her arm for a quick photo together. Liu Ruyan just silently dodged her, leaving the poor socialite standing there. Her hand was left awkwardly hanging in midair. Talk about embarrassing. Do not touch Liu Ruyan quickly became the #1 unspoken rule in their entire circle. Boda was totally over it, thinking why would anyone choose this iceberg over cute or mature girls? Normal girls are way better. He definitely did not want to marry an untouchable princess. He did not want to treat his wife like some holy statue, so he frustratedly scratched his head. His brain was working overtime to find a way out, but running away from the wedding? That would cost him a fortune, and his old man would straight up break his legs. But if he actually agreed to the marriage, he would be stuck with her cold face forever. Stuck in a complete lose-lose situation, Boda leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. Suddenly, a memory flashed in his mind from that charity gala. The exact moment Liu Ruyan backed away 3 steps, looking completely pale and disgusted. She absolutely hates clingy people, and she despises any physical contact. What if he transformed himself into the most annoying, clingy guy she could never shake off? Boda snapped his eyes open and sat straight up with a wild plan. He called Chen Ze in and ordered him to dig up every single piece of data on Liu Ruyan. Her classmates, her friends, her exes, her roommates, what she likes, what she hates, her daily habits. Every single weakness she has, and he wanted it within 3 days. He demanded her entire family history, leaving Chen Ze completely speechless and confused. Boda stood up and declared that he was about to pull off something crazy. He walked over to the floor-to-ceiling window, looking down at the busy city traffic. A confident smirk spread across his face as he vowed to force her to call off this marriage herself. 3 days later, a thick stack of files was placed right on Boda's desk. He flipped through the massive pile of documents, getting more and more excited by the second. Liu Ruyan, 26 years old, graduated top of her class from Harvard Business School. She was currently the vice president of the Liu Group, famous for her icy personality. She hated socializing, and her only real hobbies were reading, brewing tea, and raising her cat, with 0 close friends back in her school days. She skips all social gatherings and absolutely hates when anyone touches her. Reading this, Boda's eyes light up like literal light bulbs. He keeps scrolling and finds an interview transcript attached to her profile. It is an interview record with Liu Ruyan's old college roommate talking about her. She was super nice, but absolutely could not stand any physical contact. One time, the roommate got drunk and tried to hug her. She dodged faster than a rabbit. When asked jokingly if she was just a germaphobe, she stayed completely silent. But her face was so disgusted that everyone learned to never touch her again. Another report straight from her family's old butler says she hated being held even as a baby. Even her own mother got rejected, and it only got worse as she grew up. She kept everyone at arm's length, and when her cousin tried to put an arm around her shoulder, she straight up walked out and ghosted him for 3 whole months. Boda reads this over 3 times before leaning back in his chair with a smirk. His grin is huge. This is a literal godsend. He whips out his phone and calls his dad because he's finally got a plan. His stepdad picks up with a suspicious tone, but Boda just says he has finally made up his mind. He pulls a complete 180, sounding super polite and mature. He tells him, "Dad, I have thought this through very carefully. For the sake of our family business, I am down for the arranged marriage. I will take one for the team," which leaves his dad completely silent for 3 seconds. His stepdad asks if he is actually being serious, tone dripping with pure suspicion. His stepdad clearly knows his own son way too well, asking what kind of trashy game he is playing now. How could Boda sounds so incredibly innocent. He literally asks his dad if he is really that untrustworthy. His dad says yes, and Boda sighs that his feelings are deeply hurt. He admits he has conditions, but needs his dad to do him one quick favor. He wants to date Liu Ruyan first, just for a trial of 3 months. They will spend these next 3 months hanging out to build chemistry, and if things actually go well, they can get officially engaged, which is way more responsible for both of them. His stepdad hesitates, pointing out that the Liu family might not even agree to this. Boda just chuckles and tells him to go ask because they will absolutely say yes. A business marriage with actual chemistry is always way more stable than a forced arrangement. After a long silence, his stepdad finally agrees to give it a shot. Thanking his dad, Boda hangs up and tells Chen Ze that the plan is officially on. Chen Ze hesitates, asking if his boss is absolutely certain about going through with this. Absolutely. Boda stands up and casually adjusts his sharp suit tie. With pure mischief gleaming in his eyes, he tells his assistant to just wait and watch. Within 3 months, Liu Ruyan will be crying and begging her dad to cancel the wedding. His strategy is honestly flawless because she absolutely hates overly clingy and energetic people. So he will become the most enthusiastic guy ever since she despises physical contact. He is going to cling to her 24/7 and completely bomb her phone. Constant dates, following her everywhere and getting touchy-feely at every single opportunity. Honestly, with her personality, surviving a single week of this would be an absolute miracle. If she lasts a month, he will literally spell his own name backwards. Once she snaps and cancels the engagement, Boda gets to play the innocent victim. Neither his stepdad nor the Liu family can blame him. Not only does he get off completely scot-free, but he also gets to play the devoted, caring boyfriend card in their elite social circle. The distance between us is 100 steps, and I have already taken 99 steps toward him. Yet he still won't take that final step. Seriously, the genius who came up with this line is a total mastermind. Like, why were Newton and Gauss born before me? Were they just early birds? Or were they actually sharper than me? Anyway, 2 days later, his stepdad drops the news. The Liu family agreed, and even Liu Ruyan herself has absolutely no objections. So under the watchful eyes and arrangements of both families, Boda and Liu Ruyan's trial relationship officially begins. Now for their very first formal date. Boda picks a trendy, viral cafe. He actually forced Chen Ze to do all the prep work beforehand. This place is famous as the ultimate hotspot for couples, with walls completely covered in sweet photos. The seats are double swings, and the drinks are served in 2 cups sharing a single. Custom-designed straw as their special couple set. Heck, even the background music is just cheesy love songs playing on an endless loop. Boda shows up 10 minutes early, lounging on the double swing with his legs crossed, and immediately starts typing a WeChat message. He starts frantically spamming her. "Hey Ruyan, I'm here. The weather today is so nice. Perfect for us to meet. This cafe has a great vibe. I know you'll love it. Insert rose emoji. Miss you. Get here fast." Sending hearts. Then he types, "By the way, where are you now? I'll come out to meet you. So excited." Then he follows up, "Why aren't you replying?" I get it. No worries. I understand completely. I won't force you. Even if you ignore me forever, it doesn't matter. After all, in this entire world, how many people actually understand? It is fine. I do not blame you. Talked too much again. I get it now. After sending those 5 desperate messages, Boda looks at his screen totally satisfied. 3 minutes later, she replies. He looks up right as the door swings open. Liu Ruyan walks in. She is wearing an incredibly sleek off-white silk shirt and matching black wide pants. A light gray trench coat covers her shoulders. With her hair casually tied back, she looks elegant and distant. Honestly, she looks like a classic ink painting stepping into a noisy cafe. Everyone stares. Even Boda has to admit this woman is an absolute stunner. Her beauty completely outshines her cold attitude, making everything else fade away. But here is the thing. Looks mean absolutely nothing to our main character. Totally useless. Standing right up, he blasters on the absolute most dazzling and ridiculous smile he can muster. It is a hilariously greasy, over-enthusiastic look as he opens his arms. He lunges forward to hug her, and Liu Ruyan instantly freezes in her tracks. She stares at his suddenly close face. Her pupils shrink in shock, but Boda already predicted her next move. She tries to step back and dodge, but no shot he lets her escape. His strong arm wraps right around her waist, locking her in place and pulling her straight into his chest. He leans all the way in, 0 space. Leaving her absolutely no room to escape, he whispers, I finally found you. I missed you so much, Boda says, resting his chin right on her shoulder. He drops his voice low and raspy, letting his hot breath brush her ear. We haven't seen each other in ages, he mutters, feeling her every movement. Suddenly, Liu Ruyan goes completely rigid, stiffening up like a fully drawn bowstring. Every single muscle in her body tenses up through the thin shirt fabric. Boda can literally feel her heart pounding faster and faster right now. Her breathing turns shallow and rapid, and inside, Boda is absolutely celebrating. It is working! Big time! But then, Liu Ruyan's icy voice cuts through. Cold as pure ice, she tells him to let go. No shot, Boda thinks, not only refusing to let her go. He hugs her even tighter, his arms locking around her waist like iron. He even nuzzles into her neck, letting his warm breath brush her skin. Ruyan, you smell so amazing, he whispers. What kind of perfume is this? I love it. He can feel her trembling in his arms, suppressing a massive wave of emotion. Like a volcano about to erupt, Boda braces himself to get shoved. Honestly, he even fully rehearsed his lines for when she rejects him. He is ready to whine about why she is pushing him away. He just wanted to get a little closer. Is that so wrong? That pathetic act is guaranteed to make her absolutely lose her mind. But 1 second passes, then 2 seconds. 3 seconds go by and she still hasn't pushed him away. Boda is totally stunned and turns to look into her eyes. Her usually calm eyes are suddenly swirling with a wild, complicated emotion. There is shock, confusion, and something else he can't quite read. But wait, there is zero disgust or anger. She just stares back. She stares at his face for 5 whole seconds before taking a deep breath. And as she breathes in, her insanely tense posture starts to soften. It is like sharp ice slowly melting under a wave of warm water. Her shoulders relax, her arms ease up. Her entire body lets go of its defense, and she whispers, "Do as you wish." Her voice is soft as a sigh, leaving Boda completely blank. Hold on, what? This is absolutely not how the script goes. She is supposed to tell him to behave and push him away. Then she should storm off in anger. What is this do-as-you-wish stuff? Ruyan? Boda calls out hesitantly, still holding on to her tight. Liu Ruyan looks down, hiding whatever emotion is swirling in her eyes. There is zero struggle, and she does not even try to pull back. She just stands quietly in his arms, like a cat finding its home. Her voice is quiet as she tells him, "Keep hugging if you want." Boda is totally speechless because this was definitely not the plan. The plan was for her to resist so he could act pushy. He wanted to annoy her enough to make her cancel the engagement. But instead, he hugs her and she basically says, "Go ahead." How is he even supposed to respond? Boda literally stands there frozen for 3 solid seconds.
So he clears his throat, forcing himself to keep playing along and telling her to sit.
He claims this double swing is super romantic and that he picked it out just for her. Then he grabs her hand. Interlocking their fingers, he deliberately rubs his thumb against hers. He strokes the back of her hand suggestively, waiting for a reaction. Her fingers twitch. Yes, he thinks, she is definitely reacting to him. Hope flares in his chest. He happily leads her over to the tiny swing and they sit. The space is tight, so he deliberately squeezes closer to her side. Thighs pressed, shoulders touching. Honestly, he is clinging to her like glue at this point. He shoves the menu forward, his face almost touching her cheek. He suggests they both get cappuccinos with the pretty latte art. But Liu Ruyan just says whatever. Boda gets serious, saying it cannot be just whatever. He wants to treat their first real date with absolute care. He needs to know what she actually likes. Americano, latte, mocha. He rattles off 7 or 8 drinks like a desperate salesman on overdrive. She asks for an Americano, and he waves the waiter over. 2 Americanos, plus he asks about their couples combo. The waiter recommends their special heart-to-heart package. It is 2 coffees and a heart-shaped tiramisu. Boda orders it instantly, turning to her with a grin. He asks if she minds sharing a single slice. She stays silent, then tells him to do whatever. That word again. He grinds his teeth. But it is fine. They are just getting started. He figures she is just holding back in public. Once he goes all out, there is no shot she resists. The order arrives with the coffee and cake. Boda grabs a fork and scoops a bite up. He tells her to open up so he can feed her. She stares at the fork, then looks at his smile. A strange look flashes in her eyes, but he insists. He is completely relentless, pushing the fork closer. It almost touches her lips as he says, "Couples do this." He drags out his words in a greasy, high-pitched voice. Honestly, even he is cringing, but she just stares. After 5-10 seconds, she actually eats it. Boda freezes. Ain't no way she actually just ate that. Forcing himself to stay in character, he asks if it is good.
She dabs her mouth with a napkin, saying it is too sweet. He quickly suggests they just stick to the coffee instead.
Boda immediately switches focus and grabs her coffee cup instead. Stirring it slowly, he whispers her name,
Asking how she can stand drinking such bitter black coffee daily.
Ruyan says she is used to it. He plays the tragic hero. Not happening. He's here now.
He promises to sweeten her life so she never suffers again. He dumps a whole packet of sugar in, completely ruining her drink.
Just a tiny frown. He gets low-key hyped. Thinking he finally broke her composure, but she says absolutely nothing. She takes a sip. Too sweet. He tells her sweetness is better for her daily life now, claiming he's going to cling to her like syrup from now on.
She pauses mid-sip, staring.
Her ice-cold stare instantly makes him feel low-key guilty for no reason. She suddenly calls his name, making him respond in confusion. Asking when he fell for her makes his heart completely skip a beat. He didn't prepare for this. Absolute panic. Stammering that he actually noticed her a very long time ago. Bringing up a charity gala where she allegedly wore a green dress. He claims he spotted her instantly, but she remains completely calm. She never wore green. Busted. Sweating bullets, he quickly tries to play it off as a bad memory, saying he just saw her from afar and thought she was gorgeous. She asks if that was when he supposedly fell for her. He's absolutely saved. She just stares in silence, her lip twitching slightly.
He can't even tell if she's smiling.
She simply nods and goes back to drinking her ruined coffee. He's safe, for now. But little did he know, the second he looks down to eat cake, her eyes softening with a rare trace of warmth that is almost impossible to catch. Vanishing so fast it feels like an illusion after finishing their food. Shopping? Honestly, what a weird suggestion for a first date. Her expression finally shifts, but he acts like it is totally normal. Couples always go shopping. He wants to take her nearby, but she hesitates for 2 seconds.
Saying she hates crowds, but he shamelessly leans closer.
Grabbing her hand, he says she has nothing to worry about. It's a weekday anyway. Empty. To help digest their food, he practically half drags her out. Pulling her out of the cafe, the street is indeed pretty empty. Sunbeams filter through the trees, casting gorgeous shadows all over. Holding her hand, he happily babbles the entire way. Look at that gorgeous tree, Ruyan, though it is honestly nothing compared to your beauty. Want a photo, Ruyan? Look, there's a balloon stand over there. Let me buy you one. What color do you want? That ice cream shop looks amazing. Wait here, I will go grab us some. He comes back with a strawberry cone and holds it out for her. Liu Ruyan hesitates for a second, but Boda eagerly urges her on.
Take a bite, he says. So she takes a tiny, polite nibble.
He immediately asks if she likes it, and she just says it is decent. This slick guy instantly leans in, asking to try a bite himself. He takes a bite right from her hand, acting like it is no big deal. Then he drops a classic cheesy line, winking that she is much sweeter. She just stares at the bitten cone and then at his messy face. Her gaze is super unreadable, making him ask what is wrong. She looks away. They just keep walking. Passing by a little boutique, Boda gets another wild idea. He quickly drags her inside, shouting for her to look at this. He grabs some silver couple bracelets. 2 half stars that form a whole star. He asks if they should buy them so they can both wear one. Liu Ruyan sighs. Childish, she remarks. It is called romance, he insists.
He slides the silver chain onto her wrist, and honestly, she has gorgeous hands.
The silver looks stunning against her pale skin. Feeling proud of his work, he snaps the matching one onto himself. He tells her they must wear them every day and never take them off. She stares down at her wrist but stays completely quiet. He thinks she is just annoyed, but boy is he wrong. This is where the author absolutely cooked, a low-key heartbreaking detail. From that day on, she literally never takes that cheap bracelet off. She wears it to major business meetings and even in the shower. He only finds out much later. Anyway, they leave. Back on the date, he drags her to a trashy romance movie. Inside the dark theater, he prepares to run his classic plays. First, he quietly lifts the armrest. Then he pretends to be deeply moved by the cheesy movie. He rests his head on her shoulder, whimpering about the emotional plot. He even snuggles closer, total clingy puppy energy. She does not move, so he decides to push his luck even further. He grabs her cold hand and gasps, acting super concerned. He wraps her hand in his, gently rubbing it to warm her up. He asks if she is freezing from the strong theater air conditioning. She says she is fine. He refuses to listen. He insists girls need to stay warm, pulling her hand closer. He places her hand on his knee, covering it with both of his. "Let me warm you up," he whispers. Her hand flinches. Her fingers curl. Smooth move. He is screaming inside because his plan worked. Our boy is barely holding it together, but Boda keeps pushing his boundaries. Sliding his fingers through his, their hands lock into a tight, intimate hold. He leans right into Liu Ruyan's ear and whispers, "The doctor said this keeps us warm." He can feel Liu Ruyan's breath hitching completely, and just like that, the movie ends. By the time they step out of the theater, the sky is already pitch black. Boda offers to drive him home, but Liu Ruyan says there is no need. Boda insists that he has to drop him off since it is already so late. He says he is not comfortable letting him go back alone, earning a quick glance from Liu Ruyan. Without another word of rejection, they drive back to Liu Ruyan's apartment building. Boda pulls over, turning to Liu Ruyan with a bright smile, saying he had a great time today. He asks if they can go on another date tomorrow, but Liu Ruyan says he has a meeting. Boda waves his hand, dismissing it and telling him to go ahead with his meeting. He promises to wait and pick him up from the office whenever he finishes. Liu Ruyan stays silent for a few seconds before saying 5 p.m., and Boda promises to be on time. With an even wider grin, Boda wishes him a good night as Liu Ruyan steps out and walks away. But then, he turns back to look at him for just a fleeting moment. Still, Boda cannot shake the feeling that there was something hidden in that look. He quietly whispers a good night before turning around to head upstairs. Boda sits in his car watching his silhouette fade into the entrance corridor. He lets out a massive sigh of relief. Round 1 is finally over. Pulling out his phone, he texts Chen Ze that on day 1, the target is clearly resisting. But he is still holding back, meaning their plan is actually working. He promises to turn up the heat tomorrow before leaning back against his seat. He replays every single detail of the day, Liu Ruyan's completely stiff posture, his furrowed brows, and his tightly clenched fingers. His avoiding eyes, all of these tiny clues prove the plan is absolutely working. But that casual suit-yourself comment still leaves him slightly uneasy. No, it is fine. It is only the first day after all, and with his legendary clingy skills, Liu Ruyan will be waving the white flag of surrender within a week. Full of confidence, he starts the engine and drives out of the neighborhood. But get this, what our boy completely misses is that right after he leaves, Liu Ruyan stands by his floor-to-ceiling window, watching his taillight slowly vanish into the dark night. He looks down at the matching couple bracelet on his wrist, the silver heart pendant sparkling under the light. Then he picks up his phone, staring directly at the glowing screen. It shows the 5 messages Boda sent today, along with a brand new goodnight text. The text says, "Good night, Rowan. Your baby is completely out of battery power. Now starting to recharge. See you tomorrow." He scrolls through them, one by one, reading every single text from top to bottom 3 times over. Then, he uses his fingerprint to open an encrypted album containing just a single folder. The folder is named with 3 specific words, and he quickly taps it open.
Inside is a single photo taken at a grand banquet last year. It shows Boda standing in the crowd wearing a sharp dark blue suit. He is tilting his head to talk to someone, his eyes shining incredibly bright. A playful, casual smirk plays on his lips, taken from a very awkward angle. It is clearly a candid, stolen shot, and Liu Ruyan just silently stares at it. Her fingers gently trace Boda's profile on the screen as she whispers, "Finally." But the wind sweeps it away. No one hears. Cut to the next afternoon. Boda shows up right on time at the Liu Group lobby. He is rocking a completely new look. Light blue casual suit, simple white tee underneath. His hair is styled in that messy, casual way. He looks like a model, but what he is holding tells a very different story. A giant, clashing bouquet of red roses. 99 bright red roses arranged into an absolute monstrosity of a star. Inside is a note reading, "To my absolute favorite Ruyan, may you be happy every single day." Boda stands right at the entrance, proudly clutching his flowers. Honestly, he is getting a literal 200% turn rate from everyone passing by. Chen Ze asks to hold them. "No shot," Boda says. This exact dramatic attention is what he is going for. He wants everyone to see Boda is chasing after Liu Ruyan. Loudly, proudly, high profile. He wants the whole city to know. It is 4:58 p.m. as he clears his throat and struts inside. The receptionist takes one look at him and freezes up, asking how she can help. Boda flashes a smooth smile. "I am looking for Liu Ruyan. I am her fiancé." He makes sure those words ring out loud and clear. Everyone hears. Eyes immediately lock onto him. Recognizing him, the receptionist quickly stands. Director Liu is in a meeting. It should wrap up any second now. Want to wait upstairs? No need. I will wait right here. He wants her to see him immediately, so he stands right in the center. Flawless smile. Minutes tick by. Right at 5 o'clock sharp, the elevator dings open and Liu Ruyan steps out. She is wearing a sharp, professional dark gray suit jacket. Red pencil skirt, hair up. Elegant. Although you can see a hint of tiredness in her eyes. But the moment she exits, she immediately spots Boda. She actually freezes mid-step. Boda runs up, beaming with a smile as bright as the May sun. Smiling, he hands her the massive bouquet. He literally shoves 99 heavy roses straight into her arms. She catches them at a reflex, almost entirely buried behind the flowers. Everyone swoons at how incredibly romantic it is. Whispers spread about her handsome fiancé and those 99 roses. Ruyan peeks out from behind the massive bundle. She looks at him, then at the flowers, and softly whispers thank you. "You are so welcome." He wraps his arm around her shoulder. "Come on, I booked an exclusive restaurant." They exit under 1,000 jealous eyes. Boda is absolutely loving this, though honestly, this over-the-top cringe might backfire real soon. A guy like Boda definitely hates being the absolute center of attention, and everyone knows it. He sneaks a glance at Liu Ruyan, hoping to catch her looking absolutely disgusted. But she just quietly holds the flowers and hops right into his car. Once inside, Boda keeps up the cringe act, asking if she's tired from her meeting. "Shoulders sore? Let me massage them for you." Liu Ruyan says there is no need, but he insists she absolutely needs it. "I am your fiancé after all. Taking care of you is literally my job." Holding the wheel with one hand, he reaches over to grab her hand with the other. "How about a romantic walk after dinner tonight?" "The river view is beautiful," he adds, "and then I will drive you home. You can take a warm bath to relax, and I will even run the water." He keeps smiling, but inside he is wondering why she is not snapping at him yet. Is his cringe too weak? Double down time. Boda booked a couple's private room with incredibly dim, moody lighting. Candles are lit with a love seat sitting right in the middle. Yep, love seat only. Sitting side by side, their bodies are pressed together. There is literally no personal space. He spreads the menu open and asks what she wants to eat. Leaning close, his chin almost touches her shoulder. He whispers that he highly recommends their crab tofu because it is insanely fresh. His minty breath brushes against her ear, and honestly, the tension is real. Right on cue, her ears turn red. Boda spots this instantly and starts celebrating in his head. Yes, her ears are red. She must be absolutely grossed out by my greasy riz. She softly mumbles that anything is fine, her voice slightly lower than usual. He says he will just order then and starts picking dishes. While ordering, he leans even closer, pressing his arm right against hers on purpose. Thighs touching through the thin fabric. He can feel her warmth, and right after ordering, he pulls out his phone.
Chat gets flooded instantly with him asking if she liked today's roses.
He texts that she looks gorgeous holding them, attaching a sneaky photo he took. Did you miss me during your meeting today? Because I have been thinking about you nonstop, sending a little digital heart. Her phone keeps buzzing on the table, so she picks it up to check.
She looks up at him completely speechless, pointing out that he is sitting right there. He acts totally shameless, replying that he still wants to text her.
It is romance.
He texts that her side profile is gorgeous, blowing virtual kisses.
Next, he asks what shampoo she uses because she smells incredibly good.
He keeps going, saying her outfit looks amazing and yesterday she was a total fairy.
Today, she is a queen, and she just stares at the flood of texts. Silence. Then she starts typing back.
She sends, "You look pretty good today too," which completely catches him off guard.
No shot, she replied. He quickly texts back, asking if she really likes his look, promising to wear it every day for her, and she immediately replies. So Boda asks her what style she prefers, casual or formal.
Sporty, Liu Ruyan replies, adding she will wear them all just to make him happy.
After sending that, even Boda can barely keep up the act. Honestly, this conversation looks exactly like a real couple in love. No shot. He thinks she is definitely just humoring him like before. Acting nice, but secretly annoyed to death. He hypes himself up. Then he drops his phone and gets immediately clingy, offering her water. He holds the cup right to her lips, but she rejects it. No way. He insists on feeding her. She just stares at him, silent for 2 seconds. And then she actually opens her mouth as he carefully feeds her. He watches her take 2 sips and asks if it is good.
She tells him it is literally just water.
He just grins, promising to feed her water every single day. Her eyelashes flutter slightly as the food finally arrives. Time for the ultimate feeding attack. He picks up a shrimp and holds it directly to her mouth.
She hesitates, but he tells her no refusing allowed.
I ordered this specifically for you, he interrupts.
She finally takes a bite, and he eagerly asks if it is good.
Since she likes it, he grabs another, ignoring her protests. Nope, he insists, bringing another piece right to her face. And she actually eats it again. He keeps feeding her nonstop. We are talking shrimp, tofu, beef, and veggies. He literally wants to feed her the whole table until she reminds him he has not eaten. He gets all dramatic, saying watching her eat is enough. She just lowers her head in silence. He is feeling super smug, thinking his greasy line worked.
But he missed something huge.
She actually smiles. Talk about a plot twist. After dinner, they go for a walk by the river, enjoying the cool night breeze. The city lights are reflecting beautifully on the sparkling water. He takes off his jacket and gently drapes it over her shoulders. Warning her not to catch a cold, she pulls the jacket tight. She can feel his warmth and the faint scent of his cologne. She asks what he will do, but he says he is fine. Instead, he wraps his arm around her shoulder to keep them both warm. They walk along the river as he rambles about everything. Childhood stories, work drama, random gossip, he covers it all. She just listens quietly, only dropping a word or two. Suddenly, he asks if she finds him annoying. He is trying to test her limits, making her pause her steps. She turns to look at him, her hair blowing gently in the wind. Showing off those clear eyes, she softly says no. Boda freezes. This answer is totally out of his expectations. He presses her, asking if she is really not annoyed. Boda frowns when she says no. So what if I cling to you like this every single day? You still won't get sick of me? Liu Ruyan goes quiet, turning her head to stare out at the river.
She says softly, "I won't get annoyed." Her voice is like a sigh in the wind, and Boda's chest instantly tightens.
He gets this massive bad feeling. I mean, he is already sick of his own fake act.
How is she not pushing him away? But get this, the next week, it gets worse.
Boda takes his clingy act to the absolute extreme, texting her good morning at 6 a.m. sharp.
Are you awake, baby? I left some breakfast for you at the shop. All you have to do is pay for it. I also left your coffee at the coffee shop.
Liu Ruyan just replies morning, but he keeps spamming her every hour asking what she is doing.
Are you busy? What did you eat for lunch? Send me a photo. You are too skinny. Eat more meat and drink lots of water.
Sending a little kiss. You better send one back.
Liu Ruyan occasionally replies with dry one-word texts, but he still calls her every single night.
Sometimes it's a quick 10 minutes. Other times it drags on for an hour.
On the phone, he literally details his entire day from sunrise to sunset. He even spent forever describing a random stray cat he saw just because it looked like her. It's basically a 300-word essay, but Liu Ruyan just listens quietly, occasionally humming.
He starts showing up at her office building all the time, never arriving empty-handed. One day, it's a bouquet of roses. The next day, it's limited edition chocolate. Next is some niche designer jewelry, and his visits to her apartment are getting out of hand. He goes from twice a week to every other day, and finally he is there daily.
He is fully committed to this master plan of being the most annoying fiancé alive.
But here's the crazy twist. Without even realizing it, he has memorized all her preferences. She casually mentioned while they were hanging out that her office was out of tea. Literally, the very next day, he already has a plan. He gets Chen Ze to contact some exclusive tea farmers, and 3 days later, a premium box of Jin Junmei tea is delivered straight to her desk. When she gets it, she texts him. She asks how he knew she liked this specific blend, and Boda literally stares at his phone in shock.
How did he know? Well, it was in the background check he made Chen Ze run.
Boda just texts back, "Because I care about you," and she goes completely silent.
But then, later that afternoon, she actually initiates a text first. She writes, "The tea is delicious, thank you."
This is the first time she ever texted him first, and he just stares at the screen. A weird feeling starts blooming in his chest, so he quickly shakes his head to snap out of it.
He needs to clear his mind and remember his original goal.
He has to stay focused. His one mission is to get her to break off this engagement. So he doubles down on the cringe and starts sending her his absolute worst childhood photos. We're talking embarrassing baby pictures, runny-nosed elementary school pics, and acne-covered middle school disasters. He is exposing all of his worst black history, texting, "Look at how ugly I was as a kid." He sends the photos, but she just replies, "You were so cute." Boda is like, "Wait, really?" He sends another, "What about this one? This was my absolute ugliest phase." But she says it's still not ugly. Is a chubby guy covered in acne really not ugly? Boda stares at those words. Not ugly. He's completely lost. Does this guy just have zero sense of aesthetics? That night, he heads to her place as usual. Sitting on the couch, he watches Liu Ruyan brew some tea in the open kitchen. Honestly, this whole scene feels surprisingly cozy to him. Liu Ruyan is dressed down in a loose beige knit sweater. Wearing simple gray sweatpants, her hair is casually let down. It's a total shift from her usual boss lady vibe. She looks incredibly soft and warm right now. She places a cup of black tea right in front of him and tells him it's his tea. "Thank you," Boda says, taking a sip and praising her skills for getting so much better. "Well, that's because you visit so much," Liu Ruyan replies as she sits across from him. Holding her own cup, she curls up right in the corner of the couch. Pulling her legs up tight, she cradles the warm mug with both hands. She looks just like a lazy cat, and Boda can't help but stare at her profile. He suddenly asks if living in this massive apartment all alone ever makes her feel lonely, and hearing this, Liu Ruyan suddenly pauses. Staring at her tea, she stays quiet. "I'm used to it," she says, but Boda presses on, saying that just being used to loneliness doesn't make it go away. "Well, I have my cat," Liu Ruyan notes, and right on cue, a chubby ragdoll cat strolls out from the corner. It hops right onto the couch, nesting by her side as she gently pets its back. The cat lets out a happy purr. Boda asks what its name is. Me and Tuan, she replies, and Boda laughs, admitting it really does look like a round ball of dough. When he reaches out to pet it, Tuan instantly looks up with a super guarded glare. It only lets him get a quick, reluctant pat. Liu Ruyan explains that the cat is pretty wary of strangers. Then I guess I need to visit more often so he gets used to me, Boda jokes. Liu Ruyan just gives him a look. She stays quiet, and Boda ends up hanging out until past 9 o'clock that night. Before heading out, he gives her his usual hug and whispers a soft "goodnight, baby." Her muffled reply of "good night" is buried right into his chest. Pulling back, Boda takes a good look at her. With her eyelashes lowered under the warm lighting, she casts a soft shadow. Suddenly, he realizes she is actually incredibly cute like this. And honestly, can we even blame him? Wait, what is he even thinking? Mentally, Boda literally slaps himself.
He definitely needs a reality check. So when the weekend hits, he takes her straight to an amusement park.
His new master plan? Crowds. Lots of them. It's loud, packed, and easily the best place to get on someone's last nerve. Add some terrifying roller coasters to the mix, and she'll absolutely lose her mind. Sure enough, the second they step inside, her eyebrows knit together in pure annoyance.
I hate crowds, she complains, asking if it's the weekend. Well, yeah, it is, Boda says, grabbing her hand tightly.
He claims it's just so they don't get separated, telling her not to worry because he's got her. He weaves them through the sea of people, heading straight for the carousel. Liu Ruyan stares at the bright, colorful horses, completely baffled that they are actually riding this.
Boda helps her up, calling it the ultimate couple dynamic. You take the pink one, and I'll ride the blue one right next to you. The music kicks in, and the carousel starts spinning.
Boda sits on the next horse and waves at her. He tells her to look over, snapping like 8 pictures. Honestly, Liu Ruyan looks so uncomfortable sitting there. But she still forces a quick look before getting off. Next, Boda drags her straight to the swinging pirate ship.
She hesitates, asking if this ride is going to be too intense.
No way, he says. It is literally so much fun. He pulls her on board anyway, and the ride starts up. As it begins to swing, Liu Ruyan grips the bar tightly. Her lips are pressed thin, so Boda offers his hand. He tells her to hold on, but she just glares. No shot! She just keeps holding the middle bar instead. The ship swings way higher as everyone around them starts screaming. Boda checks her reaction and notices she is turning pretty pale. Yet she sits perfectly straight, refusing to scream.
Still not grabbing him, this girl has insane mental fortitude.
She has the patience of a saint, enduring literally everything. Forget these rides, she needs to go win the game already. Once they get off, he drags her straight to the bumper cars. Bumper cars, roller coasters, haunted houses, she low-key hates it all. But somehow she still sits through every single ride for him. Inside the haunted house, our boy finally sees his chance.
He pretends to be terrified and wraps his arms around her waist.
Pulling her close, he whines about how scary it is. He buries his face in her shoulder, acting dramatic as hell. Her body freezes up for a second, then slowly relaxes. She pats his back, telling him it is fake, but he clings. Boda just holds tighter, leaving her completely speechless. She keeps walking with a 188-centimeter backpack. Outside, Boda reluctantly lets her go. Genuinely amazed, he tells her she is way too brave. She shrugs it off, pointing out the upcoming fireworks show. Soon they are standing in the crowd, watching the night sky. Massive bursts of color explode, lighting up the entire park. Boda turns to speak, but she is already staring at him. The glowing fireworks reflect beautifully in her eyes. Honestly, it is a soft look he has never seen before. He asks what is wrong, but she claims it is nothing. She looks away, but his heart suddenly skips a major beat. Flustered, he forces his eyes back to the sky. Suddenly, a cold hand gently slides into his. She actually holds his hand. He lures down in shock. Her hand sits on his. She actually made the first move. He whispers her name, but she softly mutters that it is crowded. Afraid of losing her in the crowd, Boda silently holds her hand tight. And just like that, the two hold hands through the entire fireworks show. Boda's mind is a total mess. Did his master plan just fail? The plan is definitely ruined. He lies flat on his bed, completely defeated. Staring blankly at the ceiling for 30 minutes straight after walking Liu Ruyan back home? Right as they were saying goodbye downstairs, she suddenly tiptoed up.
She plants a soft kiss on his cheek, thanking him for hanging out today.
She quickly runs inside, leaving Boda standing there like a statue.
No shot! He is literally frozen because she actually kissed him! The supposedly untouchable, icy queen Liu Ruyan just kissed him! That is actually crazy! Touching his cheek, he can still feel the lingering warmth of her soft lips.
It was soft and cool, like a snowflake melting on his skin.
At that exact moment, his entire brain went completely blank. But his heart is beating so fast it might explode. Forget the plan.
His grand strategies instantly vanish in that second, replaced by one thought. She kissed me.
She does not hate him. Boda groans and rolls over in bed.
Wait, this is all wrong. According to the master plan, she was supposed to find him incredibly annoying, but instead of getting annoyed by him,
she is actively getting closer. This makes absolutely zero sense.
He pulls out his phone to check his chat history with her. Scrolling up, it is just his cringe pickup lines and her short replies. He sent 3 sun icons wishing her morning, and she replied, "Morning."
Boda then text spammed, "Send your location, I need to see where my heart is."
After she sent it, he asked, "Baby, what are you wearing today?"
"Send a picture so I can match outfits with you."
She actually sent one. Boda stares at her in the fitting room.
She is wearing a bright yellow dress, which she almost never does.
It makes her skin glow, and she actually took this for him.
He scrolls up further to his spam messages saying he misses her. She replied with a simple nod, so he asked if she missed him.
After sending a sad face, she texted back, "Yes." He stares at it. His chest tightens as he rolls around, clutching his phone like a schoolgirl. Then he realizes something low-key heartbreaking. He cannot even remember when it started. He stopped sending cringe texts just to annoy her. He genuinely wants to talk.
Every single morning, the first thing he does is grab his phone.
Just checking if she replied. Whenever he sees something funny,
he immediately snaps a picture to send. He throws his phone away, completely cooked now. Burying his face in a pillow, he realizes he actually loves her.
This is actually wild. His whole plan was meant to make her
hate him, but he ended up falling first. The author absolutely cooked with this twist. Talk about backfiring. He played himself and fell right into his own trap.
Boda lets out a dramatic wail. By the next morning, he shows up at work with massive dark circles under his eyes. His assistant, Chen Ze, is shocked.
Asking if he slept badly, but Boda just snaps at him to shut up.
He sits at his desk, desperately trying to focus on his work. But his brain is completely full of Liu Ruyan and what she is doing.
Is she done with her meeting? Did she even eat a good lunch?
What did that kiss yesterday even mean? Chen Ze stands nearby, silent for 2 seconds, before calling out, "President Ji." "You haven't followed the plan for 3 days," he says, leaving Boda completely stunned. "What do you mean?" he asks. "Isn't everything following the original plan?" "Well, by the 5th day, you were supposed to start staging cringe public stunts on purpose. Like singing outside her office, or confessing in public. Or maybe spilling drinks to pick a fight. But you haven't done any of that."
Boda opens his mouth to argue, but honestly, he has absolutely nothing to say back.
He totally gets defensive, claiming he is playing the long game. Standard denial, guys.
"I have my own pace, so back off." Chen Ze just adjusts his glasses, completely silent.
But his face is low-key saying, "Keep lying to yourself, boss." Boda irritably waves him away.
"Just get out," he orders.
Now he's left all alone in the quiet office. Leaning back with his eyes closed, the memories of last night's fireworks start flooding his mind. How she took his hand and that gentle kiss she left on his cheek. And he has to admit it, Liu Ruyan is nothing like he originally thought she was.
She is not some emotionless robot, nor is she a cold iceberg.
As an artist, expressing herself just doesn't come naturally to her. But she acts on her feelings instead, making sure to read every single text he sends her.
She says yes to every request he makes, and she always holds his hand when he reaches out.
Lately, she is even taking the initiative to get close, making his heart race. Nah, he needs to chill, even if he is starting to low-key fall for her. He cannot forget that this marriage is nothing but a cold, hard business deal.
Liu Ruyan only agreed to see him to satisfy her family's strict demands. It is not for actual romance, her casual agreements and soft nods.
That is probably just her good manners and duty. Even that kiss was likely just out of gratitude. Does she actually like him? Boda genuinely cannot tell anymore.
Right as he is spiraling into overthinking, his phone suddenly buzzes.
It is a text from Liu Ruyan saying she is working overtime tonight. She tells him not to come. Boda just stares at the screen for ages. Telling him to stay away like this? Does she secretly find him annoying now? Honestly, this sudden wave of weird emotions just hits him out of nowhere. He is not happy. Not even proud. Instead, he feels incredibly disappointed, which makes zero sense for him. I mean, his whole plan was literally to make her sick of him. Now that she is actually pushing him away, he should be throwing a whole party, but he is hurting. But he is absolutely not in a celebrating mood as he sits there. He literally stares at the text for 10 straight minutes before making his move. The next move he makes is so incredibly wild that even he cannot believe it. He heads straight to the Liu group, and by the time he arrives, it is already 8 p.m. Most of the corporate building is completely dark now, with only a few scattered office lights still on. He sends her a text saying he is downstairs, and 30 seconds later, she replies with a question mark. Boda replies that even with overtime, she needs to eat, and he brought her dinner. This time, the chat stays dead silent for a full 2 minutes. "I am coming," she finally texts. Boda leans against his car as she steps out of the lobby. She threw on some casual clothes, just a simple white t-shirt and jeans. Her hair was completely down with zero makeup on her face. It looks like she hurried downstairs just to meet him, asking why he even came out here. Boda shrugs and says he already told her he was bringing some late-night food. He pops open the car door and grabs a warm, insulated bag from the passenger seat. He tells her he had Chen Ze run to Ruyi to get her favorite crab roe dumplings and chicken porridge. Liu Ruyan takes the bag and looks down at him with a softened expression. He warns her that Ruyi is a 40-minute drive, so she better actually enjoy it. "Do not waste a single bite," Boda says as he reaches out and ruffles her hair. Right after, he freezes, realizing what he just did because the gesture was just way too natural. It felt like they had done this 1,000 times, and honestly, she does not even dodge. She lets his hand rest on her head for a few seconds before Boda pulls back and tells her to go inside. He says it will get cold soon, but she immediately asks about him. He says he's heading back, but she goes silent before pointing out he has not eaten yet. Boda laughs and says he will just grab something at home, but she cuts him off, demanding they eat together. He is completely stunned, but then a huge smile breaks across his face. He follows her upstairs, and honestly, her office is designed exactly like her minimalist apartment. Strictly minimalist with black, white, and gray tones. But right there on the desk is the bouquet of preserved flowers he gifted her a few days ago. Looking at those preserved flowers, Boda feels something deep inside his heart get gently touched. She actually kept them in her office to look at every single day. They sit down at the reception coffee table to eat those delicious crab roe soup dumplings. Enjoying the chicken porridge and side dishes, Boda asks if she is mad he came. He worried she would be genuinely annoyed that he completely ignored her wishes. Liu Ruyan just glances at him and asks what he thinks, completely freezing him in his tracks. This is literally the first time she has ever asked him a question back, causing him to hesitate. He admits he thinks she finds him annoying because he is just way too clingy. For once, he is being completely real, mentioning how he constantly spams her with texts. He is always showing up to mess up her entire schedule. Anyone would get sick of that, he says, but she just puts down her chopsticks and stares. Calling him by his full name, she says very clearly that she has never found him annoying. Boda is stunned, pointing out that she clearly kept her distance and avoided him at first. He reminds her how she resisted whenever he tried to hug her, making her look down. After a long silence, she finally whispers that she was never trying to avoid him. When he asks what it was then, she does not answer, silently walking over to the window. With her back to him, she quietly confesses in a very soft voice that she has some issues. Any physical contact with other people makes her deeply uncomfortable, and it has been like that since childhood. Boda stands up, walking over to stand right behind her as he asks why she accepted him.
She turns around and says she does not hate his presence, while only a single floor lamp lights the room.
The soft, warm light creates a super intimate atmosphere. Under the gentle glow of the lamp, her eyes look incredibly deep, filled with intense emotions he cannot even begin to read. She tells him that she does not hate him getting close, nor does she hate his messages. His hugs, his touch, none of it bothers her. She does not hate a single thing about him, making his heart beat like crazy. It feels like a massive wave of emotion just crashed right into him as she quickly looks away. From now on, don't ever ask if you're annoying me. I won't get annoyed with you. Never. The entire office suddenly falls dead silent. Boda can hear his own heart pounding like a drum. He looks closely at Liu Ruyan and notices her ears turning red.
She is curling her fingers in pure nervousness. He realizes she isn't just tolerating him.
Instead of resisting, she is actually accepting him. This realization hits Boda like lightning. He gently reaches out to turn Liu Ruyan's face, forcing her to look right at him. He calls her full name, his voice a bit hoarse. Liu Ruyan. She softly asks what's wrong. "I want to kiss you," he says. Liu Ruyan's eyes instantly widen. Boda doesn't even wait for an answer. He leans straight in and kisses her. Not on the cheek. This is a direct, full-on kiss on the lips. Her lips are incredibly soft, just like he imagined. Best of all, no resistance. After freezing for a split second, she slowly closes her eyes. She wraps her arms around his waist. Our boy Boda immediately deepens the kiss. He kisses her so gently and carefully, treating her like the most fragile treasure. He can feel Liu Ruyan trembling slightly in his arms, but it is not fear. It's definitely not disgust either. Honestly, he is not even sure what it is. But he knows she doesn't hate it. When they finally pull apart, things get even better. Their breathing is completely wrecked. Liu Ruyan's lips are slightly swollen and red. Tears mist her eyes as she stares up at Boda. She stays silent. "Ruyan," Boda whispers, gently cupping her face. He uses his thumb to wipe a tear away, but she stops him. "Don't say it," she whispers. She cuts him off, telling him not to say anything. Boda freezes up in shock, asking her how she knew that was exactly what he wanted to say. "Because you are Boda," Liu Ruyan says, easily looking right through his playful act. But deep inside, you are serious to a fault. He just stares at her, speechless. He suddenly smiles, realizing he almost blurted out that he would take full responsibility for her. But thinking about it now, he looks at her and says he loves her. Liu Ruyan's body trembles slightly. No, this is definitely not part of any script or acting. This is not some fake act anymore. Boda looks deeply into her eyes. He spells out every single word with absolute sincerity, saying she is his first thought when he wakes up every single morning. And his very last thought, before falling asleep, because all he wants is to hold her hand. To hold her tight and just be together. Honestly, he does not even know when these feelings first started. But he is just completely and utterly in love with her. Liu Ruyan listens in silence until he finishes. Then she slowly lowers her head, burying her face right into his chest. Her hands tightly clutch the front of his shirt, gripping it with all her strength. With a muffled voice, she asks him what took him so long, and if he knows how long she has been waiting for this. Boda freezes. Wait, this emotional payoff is insane. What does she mean? Liu Ruyan looks up at him with tears glistening in her eyes, yet a soft smile plays on her lips. And that is the absolute first time Boda has ever seen her smile like this, genuinely. A real smile, not just a polite social mask. No fake customer service look, but a genuine feeling rising straight from her heart. An uncontrollable, beautiful smile. She looks up at him and says it means he only thinks he is so incredibly smart. Turns out he is actually a fool. Boda is left with pure question marks. But after that night, things between Boda and Liu Ruyan get super complicated. We are entering a brand new phase. Our main character, Boda, no longer needs to fake his feelings. Every sweet gesture towards Liu Ruyan is totally genuine now. She is still quiet, still cold. But there is a new softness in her eyes. She actually listens when he speaks.
She smiles with him and even slides her hand right into his coat pocket.
A simple morning text from her is enough to make his entire day.
Honestly, his assistant Chen Ze thinks his boss is completely whipped, spacing out during meetings. He is giggling over documents, even when the stubborn old board members are coming for his neck.
He just sits there with this creepy, happy expression. Boss, are you actually okay?
Chen Ze finally asks, but Boda just shrugs. I am fine, why wouldn't I be?
He leans back with a smirk. By the way, how is the old man doing? Chen Ze checks the schedule and says the chairman is actually thrilled. Apparently his father loves his performance and how stable things are with Miss Liu. Their partnership is moving fast, and the Liu family is loving it too. They are just glad she finally found someone she does not mind touching.
Boda freezes as the truth hits him. He almost forgot. She was famous for hating physical contact, yet with him, she never pulled away. Why?
That night, Boda shows up at her apartment and knocks on the door. A few seconds later, she opens it.
She stands there in an oversized sweater, her hair still wet from a shower. When she asks what he is doing, he does not even let her finish. He pulls her straight into a tight embrace. He holds her so close, leaving her completely frozen in shock.
"What is wrong?" she whispers. "Nothing," he replies.
Burying his face in her damp hair, he just tells her he wanted to hold her.
She goes quiet before gently wrapping her arms right back around his waist. "If you want to hug me, you do not need a reason."
He smiles. She is always so effortlessly cool.
They stand there hugging until her cat, Mian-Tuan, trots over. It circles their feet, letting out an annoyed meow to show its jealousy.
She laughs that the cat is jealous, but he just holds her tighter before letting go. He takes her hand instead, saying they need to talk.
Sitting on the couch, Boda holds her hand tight. He looks straight into her eyes. "Ruyan," he begins.
"You hate being touched. Why did you never push me away?"
She looks down at their intertwined fingers. After a long silence, she whispers, "Because it is you."
His heart completely stops, and honestly, so does mine. She explains that the first time she saw him was at a charity gala 3 years ago. Her voice is incredibly soft now. She talks like she is uncovering a buried memory, recalling a terrible night.
Having slipped away to the rooftop for air, she saw him walk out.
He did not notice her and started arguing on the phone about a charity project.
His team wanted to dump money into a poor mountain school, just to take a few PR photos and call it a day, which made him furious. He had snapped that he did not care what others did, but his family business was not doing fake charity.
Get those charity desks and textbooks delivered immediately and make sure every single kid gets their lunch.
Anyone slacking off or trying to fool me can pack their bags tomorrow. Boda freezes. He remembers. That charity project.
It was in the South, part of an old redevelopment plan, just a minor side project.
He forgot all about it immediately, but Liu Ruyan says he hung up and realized she was right there on the rooftop, watching him. He just nodded, left without a word.
Wait, just because of that?
Mind blown. She tells him he looked incredibly fierce, but not out of random anger.
No, he was furious because someone tried to cheat a charity.
Caring this much about a nonprofit project? He must be good deep down.
Boda is completely speechless. Her voice is so gentle now. She actually looked into that project
And found he built brand new playgrounds.
He hired nutritionists for meals and even redesigned classroom lighting.
Using a top designer. 0 media coverage. No publicity at all. No one knew he personally took charge. Why check? She wanted the truth. Was it fake? No, he was the real deal. His ears burn. He is used to being called handsome or rich, but being called good by her? Bro is literally defenseless now. He has no idea how to handle this.
She keeps going, admitting she watched him from afar at every event.
Smiling softly, she says he always seemed reckless. He would goof off, yet sent medicine when his secretary fell sick. He flew out overnight to help a friend, and secretly gave financial aid to sick employees, keeping it quiet. He never wanted credit, but she saw everything. On the outside, he talks trash, but his heart is cleaner than anyone. His ears burn. She says, so. When they proposed the marriage alliance, she immediately agreed. She had no clue if he would ever like her, but she wanted to gamble. Why not say so sooner? His voice cracks. He brings up his clingy behavior. Shouldn't she have hated it? She just smiles. The author is low-key cooking so hard here.
It is the most beautiful smile ever. To her, his clinginess was a dream come true, an approach she never dared hope for.
She kept every single gift and never deleted a single message. Every touch was locked in her heart. He thought he was playing chess to force her to call off the wedding. But to her, the man she waited 3 years for was finally approaching. Boda is completely stunned. His genius plan was actually just him chasing her. He was just fooling himself this whole time. And she was happily playing along. He just stares, utterly speechless. She stares into his eyes, catching that playful grin on his face. Then he laughs quietly. Before bursting into a full-on belly laugh, he's literally bent over. He completely admits defeat, telling her, all right, Liu Ruyan, you win. Laughing until he's practically crying? Talk about a top-tier wholesome payoff. He pulls her in close. Boda's voice is muffled as he thanks her for agreeing to marry him. Thanking her for choosing him out of everyone, while she stays silent. But she tightens her grip around his waist as their cat meows. The furball squeezes between them, super jealous. He chuckles, but she tells him he'd better get used to it. Used to sharing her with him, making him smile even wider. Honestly, his heart is so warm right now. He looks at her, proposing they finally get married. Her eyes completely light up as she says yes. 3 months later, the big wedding day is finally here. Boda stands on the red carpet, eyes locked on his bride. She walks down the aisle with her dad. Even with the veil covering her face, he can see her smiling. It's the most beautiful scene as Father Liu hands her off to him. He promises to treat her right, squeezing her hand tight. And during the ring exchange, he notices her eyes getting teary. He gently wipes a tear from her eye, leaning in to whisper, "Don't cry." Ruined makeup won't look pretty, but she just giggles. You'll marry me anyway, right? I definitely will, he promises. Wedding over. Penthouse suite. Boda finally slides off his heavy suit jacket. He loosens his tie and sits down on the edge of the bed, watching Liu Ruyan start removing her makeup.
She sits at the vanity, slowly wiping away the cosmetics.
Honestly, her bare face looks even more naturally stunning than with all that makeup on. The author really cooked with this couple. Catching him staring, she asks what he is looking at, and he says, "My wife." Boda answers with zero shame, making her break into a soft smile. She stands up, walks right over to him, and whispers, "Hold me." He opens his arms wide, pulling her close as they both collapse onto the bed. Resting on his chest, listening to his heartbeat, she tells Boda he doesn't need to cling to her every single day anymore.
When he asks why, she smiles, because no matter how much you cling to me, I will only be
happy. Hearing this, Boda holds her tighter, promising to cling even more. I will only pester you for the rest of my life. Liu Ruyan just laughs. Her soft laughter tickles his heart like a feather. Whatever you say, he whispers. 5 years later, we get this adorable special episode. Boda is sitting on the living room carpet. He is holding an absolutely adorable, doll-like little girl who has just turned 3. Her nickname is Little Doe. Yes, she actually shares a name with their chubby ragdoll cat. Because both are chubby and incredibly clingy, no difference really. Little Doe is grabbing his shirt collar, babbling and calling out for her daddy. Boda yells toward the kitchen, telling his wife that their daughter just wet herself again. Right on cue, Liu Ruyan walks out of the kitchen carrying a plate of freshly cut fruit. He walks over to Boda, squatting down to smoothly take their daughter. He starts changing her diaper. Basically 5 years have passed. Liu Ruyan has changed so much since then. He still instinctively keeps strangers at a distance, but with friends and family, he easily accepts hugs now. Honestly, he even acts cute and needy first. Well, only in front of his husband. Boda watches him skillfully change diapers, suddenly remembering something. When Ruyan asks what is wrong, Boda speaks up. Why did you hate physical contact so much back then? Liu Ruyan freezes for a second.
He looks up at Boda, his gaze surprisingly calm. He says it was touch starvation, which Boda slowly repeats in confusion. Liu Ruyan looks back down, continuing to change their daughter's diaper. He explains his mom was sick, so nobody hugged him, making touch feel foreign.
Yet you still secretly wanted a hug? Boda asks gently.
So that is why you went completely stiff when I hugged you at the cafe.
But I was not pushing you away, Liu Ruyan softly replies.
I was holding back from hugging you back, which completely stuns Boda.
Your firm closeness made me feel safe, Liu Ruyan says, picking up their daughter. Looking into her eyes that look exactly like Boda's, he whispers thanks, leaving Boda confused.
Thank you for not running away from my coldness, he says, thanking him for staying close.
Until I got used to your warmth. Without you, I would still be all alone. Boda just stares at him, looking deep into his eyes. Then, looking at the daughter in his arms, he suddenly pulls them both close. Pulling his wife in, he says the luckiest thing that ever happened to him was hugging him at the cafe that day, burying his face in his neck. Muffling his voice, he says the most foolish thing he ever did. Who was also hugging him at that cafe, making Liu Ruyan ask why it was stupid. Boda laughs and explains. Because I actually thought I was calling the shots for you, but ended up completely trapped myself. Liu Ruyan laughs too. He leans into his chest, enjoying his warmth. Boda, he whispers, promise to hug me every single day, okay? Tell me you love me every day too. Suddenly, little Miantuan squirms right between them, letting out a tiny, annoyed squeak. The two dads burst out laughing. Miantuan wiggles out from between them, heading over to play with her toy blocks.
Boda and Liu Ruyan stay wrapped in a tight hug, neither wanting to let go.
Outside, beautiful warm sunlight spills across the carpet like shattered gold. Miantuan sits in the warm sunshine, her little tail swaying back and forth.
Everything is just perfect.